When you decide to do it alone, you make one of the hardest but most powerful choices in your life. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to push you when you're tired, and nobody will believe in your dream the way you do. The world is full of people who talk, who wait, who rely on others to validate their purpose. But the ones who rise, the ones who build something real, are the ones who choose to walk the path alone. Solitude isn't weakness, silence builds strength, because it is in the absence of noise that true growth begins. The world today is loud, filled with opinions, distractions, and constant pressure to prove yourself to others. Everyone wants to be seen, heard, and validated. But the ones who truly rise above are those who step away from the noise and learn to operate in silence. Silence isn't emptiness, it's energy being refined. It's where you confront your own weaknesses, sharpen your focus, and build the discipline that no applause or attention can give you. Strength doesn't come from being surrounded by people. It comes from facing the moments when no one is there, and you still choose to show up for yourself. When you work in silence, you take back control of your energy. Every distraction you cut off becomes power redirected toward your mission. Every opinion you ignore becomes fuel for your own voice. The quiet doesn't lie to you. It shows you exactly who you are. It exposes your excuses, your habits. Most people avoid silence because it forces them to face themselves. But that confrontation is where transformation begins. In the quiet. You can't hide behind motivation or praise. You can't rely on someone else to tell you what to do. You either commit or you quit. That's where strength is built, in the stillness where your will is tested and your purpose is purified. Silence teaches patience. When you stop needing to prove yourself to everyone, you stop rushing the process. You understand that mastery takes time. That greatness doesn't need to announce itself. It reveals itself when it's ready. The loudest people often achieve the least because they spend their energy talking instead of building. The quiet ones, the ones working when no one's watching, they're the ones who surprise the world. Their strength is internal, not performative. They don't need validation because they've already validated themselves through effort. Every moment spent in silence compounds over time. Every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice no one sees. It all adds up to something powerful that can't be taken away. Silence also builds resilience. When you're used to operating without applause, you stop depending on external motivation. You learn to create your own momentum. You stop waiting for people to understand or support you. You realize that your vision belongs to you alone, and that's enough. When setbacks come, and they will, you don't crumble because you've already faced tougher battles in the quiet. You've fought your doubts, your fears, your procrastination, your pain alone. That kind of strength can't be shaken by criticism or rejection. When you've built yourself in silence, nothing external can destroy what's internal. The ones who thrive in silence are dangerous because they're unpredictable. You can't read them. You can't distract them, and you can't break them. They don't chase recognition, they chase progress. They don't talk about their goals, they live them. They don't post every move, they move in purpose. And when they finally step into the light, people are shocked by their growth. But what they don't see is the years of silence that built it. That's the irony of strength. It's forged in the moments no one notices. Silence is not weakness, it's focus, it's clarity, it's power under control. Those who can master silence master themselves. And those who can master themselves can master anything. Loyalty to self over approval from others is one of the most powerful forms of freedom a person can achieve. Most people live their lives chasing validation, constantly trying to fit into expectations, constantly seeking to be liked, accepted, or understood. But the truth is, the more you seek approval from others, the further you drift away from yourself. You begin to shape your identity around what others think, say, or want, instead of what you know to be true within you. Real peace begins when you stop chasing applause and start following your purpose. When you choose loyalty to yourself, you make a commitment to honor your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, to follow your path, even when it's unpopular, and to believe in your vision, even when no one else does. When you depend on approval, you give away your power. You let the opinions of others decide your worth. You start adjusting your behavior just to gain temporary validation. But approval is fragile. It shifts with moods, trends, and convenience. The same people who praise you today can criticize you tomorrow. If your confidence depends on how others see you, then it will always be unstable. Loyalty to yourself builds an inner foundation that doesn't crumble when people change. It means knowing who you are and refusing to compromise your values just to fit in. It's understanding that not everyone will support your decisions, and not everyone needs to. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. Choosing loyalty to yourself often requires walking alone. It means saying no to things that don't align with your purpose, even if it disappoints others. It means being misunderstood, criticized, or even rejected for standing by your truth. But every time you choose yourself, you strengthen your integrity. You prove to yourself that your voice matters more than the noise around you. The people who truly belong in your life will respect your authenticity, not your conformity. The rest will fade, and that's how you make room for growth. The path of self-loyalty isn't easy, but it's worth it. It's better to walk alone with integrity than to walk with a crowd that demands you betray who you are. Loyalty to yourself also builds confidence. When you make choices based on your inner conviction, instead of external pressure, you learn to trust your instincts. You stop second guessing your worth because you no longer need validation to confirm it. You stop chasing approval because you already approve yourself. That self-approval becomes your armor. It allows you to move forward without fear of judgment. It allows you to take risks, fail, learn, and grow without the weight of outside opinions holding you down. You realize that the only approval that truly matters is the one you give yourself at the end of the day. The world will always have something to say. People will always project their fears, their limits, and their insecurities onto you. But when you are loyal to yourself, their opinions lose power. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop following trends and start following purpose. You stop needing to be understood and start needing to be fulfilled. That's when you become unstoppable, because your drive no longer depends on validation. You don't need applause to move forward. You don't need agreement to stand tall. You don't need permission to become who you were meant to be. Loyalty to self means you choose truth over comfort, purpose over popularity, and growth over approval. It means you understand that you are enough, with or without anyone's acceptance. And once you reach that point, no rejection can break you, no opinion can define you, and no obstacle can stop you. Because you finally belong to yourself. And that's where real power begins. Isolation creates focus, because when you remove yourself from the noise, you begin to see clearly. The world is full of distractions, constant notifications, endless comparisons, and people who demand your attention but add no value to your growth. Everyone wants your time, but few deserve your energy. When you isolate yourself, you reclaim that energy. You take back control of your attention, your thoughts, and your direction. Focus is not something you find in chaos. It's something you create in solitude. When you step away from everything that pulls you off track, you start to hear your own voice again. You start to reconnect with your purpose. You start to notice what truly matters and what was only wasting your time. Isolation is not about being lonely. It's about being intentional. It's not about cutting people off. It's about cutting distractions off. It's about creating space for growth, reflection, and self-mastery. In the quiet, there are no opinions guiding you, no comparisons clouding you, no expectations pressuring you. There is only you and your vision. That's where focus thrives, in the silence of self-discipline. When you're alone, you can fully dedicate yourself to your craft without judgment or interference. You can fail in peace, learn in peace, and grow in peace. Isolation gives you the mental space to refine your skills and sharpen your perspective. You begin to understand what drives you, what drains you, and what deserves your attention. People often fear isolation because it feels uncomfortable. The silence can be intimidating when you've spent most of your life surrounded by noise. But that discomfort is exactly where clarity begins. When you're isolated, you're forced to face your thoughts, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities, all of it. But in doing so, you also uncover strength, creativity, and confidence that were buried under distraction. You begin to recognize how much energy you used to waste worrying about things that don't matter. You start to see how often you delayed your goals because you were too busy keeping up with others. In isolation, your priorities rearrange themselves. You stop chasing attention and start chasing progress. Focus doesn't come from external motivation. It comes from inner alignment. And isolation gives you the space to find that alignment. It strips away all the noise so you can concentrate on what's truly essential. When you isolate yourself, you give yourself permission to go all in. No excuses, no interruptions, no compromises. You learn to hold yourself accountable, to discipline your time, and to protect your focus like it's sacred. Because it is. Every minute spent focused is a minute invested in your future. Every hour alone with your purpose is an hour that compounds into mastery. The world doesn't reward distractions, it rewards results. And results are born in solitude. Isolation also builds independence. When you can function, create, and stay committed without needing validation or company, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for people to motivate you because you've learned to motivate yourself. You stop depending on external support because you've become your own source of strength. Focused isolation transforms you into someone who doesn't need attention to stay disciplined. You start working quietly while everyone else is talking loudly. And when the time comes to show the world what you've built, they'll wonder how you did it. But you'll know. You did it because you chose focus over distraction, growth over comfort, and purpose over popularity. Isolation is not a prison, it's a preparation. It's where vision takes shape before the world sees it. It's where discipline is built before success arrives. It's where your mind sharpens, your habits strengthen, and your mission becomes unshakable. The more you embrace isolation, the more powerful your focus becomes. Because when you can work alone, stay consistent alone, and believe in yourself alone, there's nothing that can break your momentum. That's the secret of high achievers. They isolate not to escape the world, but to build something the world will one day notice. Not everyone can see your vision because it wasn't given to them. The dream that burns inside you, the purpose that drives you, the fire that keeps you awake at night, it's yours and yours alone. Too often, people expect others to understand what they're chasing, to see the picture in their mind as clearly as they do. But the truth is, they can't. The world's tough. They weren't there when the idea first sparked. They didn't feel the pull that told you this was your path. They don't carry the same hunger or the same purpose. And that's okay. You weren't meant to convince them. You were meant to build it. Expecting people to see your vision is what stops most people from realizing it. Because the moment you start explaining, justifying, or seeking approval, you start watering down your dream to make it digestible for others. When you share your vision with people who can't see beyond their own limitations, they'll project those limitations onto you. They'll tell you it's too risky, too unrealistic, too far-fetched, not because it is, but because they can't imagine themselves doing it. People often criticize what they don't understand and doubt what they fear. So when they tell you it can't be done, they're not speaking about your ability. They're revealing their own disbelief. That's why protecting your vision is crucial. It's fragile in its early stages. It needs belief before it needs exposure. You can't expect people who have never walked your path to understand where you're going. What they call impossible, you might already be halfway to achieving. The more you depend on others to see your vision, the more you lose focus on executing it. Vision doesn't require validation, it requires action. You don't need the world to agree with you before you start building. You just need the courage to take the first step. Every great idea, every breakthrough, every success story began with someone being misunderstood. The people who change the world are often laughed at, ignored, or criticized before they're celebrated. The world's tough. That's the price of having a vision bigger than the average person's belief. You have to be okay with being doubted. You have to be okay with being the only one who sees it clearly. Because in time, your results will speak louder than your explanations ever could. There will be moments when the lack of understanding feels lonely, when it seems like no one supports you, when the people closest to you question your path, when your sacrifices go unnoticed. But those moments are part of the process. They test how much your vision really means to you. If your belief in it depends on external approval, it will crumble under pressure. But if your belief is internal, if it comes from conviction, purpose, and persistence, then no doubt, no criticism, no misunderstanding can stop you. Every time someone doubts you, use it as fuel. Every time someone questions your dream, let it remind you that you're doing something different, something uncommon. Visionaries aren't supposed to fit in. They're supposed to stand out. In time, the same people who couldn't see your vision will see your results. They'll call you lucky, gifted, or an overnight success, not realizing the years of unseen effort it took to get there. That's why you must protect your dream from those who can't see it. Not everyone is meant to understand your mission. Some are meant to doubt it so you can strengthen your resolve. Some are meant to leave so you can walk your path with clarity. And some will only see it once it's done. That's the nature of vision. It's invisible until it becomes visible. So stop trying to make others understand and start building what only you can see. Because the world doesn't reward those who seek approval. It rewards those who have the courage to create what no one else believed was possible. Become your own team, because at the end of the day, no one will ever believe in your dream as much as you do. People might support you for a while, cheer for you when it's convenient, or walk with you when it benefits them, but eventually, it always comes down to you and your effort. You have to learn to be your own motivator, your own accountability partner, your own biggest supporter. When no one checks in, you have to check in with yourself. When no one claps, you have to clap for yourself. When nobody believes, you still have to move forward with faith. Becoming your own team means realizing that your progress, your success, and your future depend on your ability to keep going, even when you're the only one left standing. In the beginning, people will promise to help. They'll say they're with you. But when the work gets hard, when the sacrifices get real, most will disappear. That's when you realize that your dream is your responsibility, not anyone else's. You can't keep waiting for support, motivation, or permission. You have to create your own momentum. You have to become so self-driven that even when everything around you falls apart, your willpower keeps you moving. That's what it means to become your own team. To be so focused, so consistent, and so accountable to your own vision that you don't need constant validation to keep working. You stop relying on others for energy because you've learned how to generate it yourself. Being your own team doesn't mean rejecting people or isolating yourself from the world. It means knowing how to move forward with or without help. It's about independence, not arrogance. It's understanding that while teamwork is powerful, self-reliance is essential. You can collaborate, but you can't depend. You can receive support, but you can't expect it. Because when you depend too much on others, you give away control of your progress. When you learn to push yourself, you take that control back. You build a mindset that says, if no one shows up for me, I'll still show up for myself. That's power. The kind of power that builds unshakable confidence and resilience. When you become your own team, discipline replaces motivation. You stop waiting to feel ready and start acting, because you know no one else is coming to do the work for you. You build habits that hold you accountable. You wake up early not because someone told you to, but because your goals demand it. You stay consistent, not because someone's watching, but because you promised yourself that you would. You become the coach, the player, and the entire crew. You motivate yourself on the bad days, celebrate yourself on the good ones, and hold yourself accountable through both. Every time you push through alone, you build a new level of mental strength that no one can take away. There's freedom in becoming your own team. You stop needing approval to feel valid. You stop waiting for encouragement to take action. You stop depending on others to fuel your dreams. You realize that you have everything you need: discipline, focus, and drive already within you. And when you learn to move like that, the world starts to notice. People start to respect you not because you asked for it, but because you earned it. They see that your consistency isn't fueled by attention, it's fueled by purpose. And eventually, the ones who doubted you will wonder how you managed to do it alone. They'll see the results, but they'll never understand the lonely nights, the silent battles, the endless hours you spent building yourself up when no one else would. That's what it means to become your own team, to keep showing up, to keep grinding, and to keep believing no matter who's watching. Because once you master that, nothing and no one can stop you.